Hello, I'm going to make a short video on seeing if I can get GitHub Copilot Coding Agent to create a blog post on my blog, which is on GitHub pages, using or about GitHub Copilot Coding Agent. No idea whether this will work. I don't think this is the intended use case for GitHub Copilot Coding Agent, but as my blog is on Copilot GitHub pages, and it's JavaScript static blog created by 11T. We're using the 11T framework, lots of JavaScript in there, but I just wanted to create a markdown blog post. I just wanted to see what would happen if I do this. So to give you a quick idea of what GitHub Copilot Coding Agent can do, you can basically take an issue that describes the feature you want to build, or the change you want to make, or whatever you want to do to your repo. As long as it's well defined, you can hopefully set GitHub Copilot Coding Agent, which is a bit of a mouthful, loose to basically do the work, submit a PR, and then you can review the PR. So I've set my repo up with GitHub Copilot Coding Agent, which gives me the ability to assign the task or the issue to Copilot. So if you have a look down here, I've really just asked it to create a blog post in the source folder. I've really not given it too much instruction technically on how to do that. I have been fairly clear on what the blog must say. I am ensuring that there is some sort of notice at the beginning that this is for demonstration testing purposes. I plan to actually provide this video as part of the blog post, so you can actually see the process. But I did want to make it transparent that this is a completely AI generated blog post. I also wanted to give it a little bit of guidance on actually make it instructional. Here's the reference material I want you to use. I've given it some guidance on length. I've asked it to cover details like what is the actual workflow, say, if I want to make adjustments to the PR, can I ask Copilot, and so on. So I've just asked it to give a bit more detail and complete the post. So all I have to do to kick this off is assign it to Copilot. And when I do that, after a few moments, it's going to start telling me work is being done. And you will see down here that it's first thing it does is create a PR. Now that PR is actually where I will start to watch what's going on. So if I look down here is the detail, it's the PR that's been created, and I can actually watch the Copilot as it works. So I can click View Session, I'll open that in a new tab. A View Session will start up a Codespaces environment for me, or for the Copilot, I should say, and that Copilot will add MCP servers, for example, if you've given it access to for the GitHub MCP, and then it will start thinking through the process of what it needs to do, and it'll then come up with a checklist of things to do, and then we'll work through thought, act, reflect, and then round and round until it solves the problem or finishes the task. So this initial part does take a little bit of time because it's got to spin up that Codespaces, 59 seconds, 1 minute. So now what it's doing is it's the first thing it's doing is actually, let's have a look at all your posts. So I said one of the instructions is use my style from the most recent posts. And it's actually first looking in the posts folder to see what's there. So you can see it's found some of the recent posts, and it's getting an idea of, now it knows the structure I store my blog posts in my repo. All this is public, so this is nothing secret here. You can go and have a look at this. So it's going through, it's figuring out some, I think some posts are dated in the future, which is interesting. Which I think that's an interesting one. Maybe we need an MCP that returns the current time for Copilot, but that's okay. It's looked at some of my 2021 blog posts. I haven't been posting that much the last few years, but I'm getting back into it. But hey, all good. It's found one in 2025. It's looking at the structure, so it's now getting an idea, because I did say mimic my style. It's having a look at the structure of the repository, and we can actually click show more to see what else it's looking at. So it's basically getting an idea of what's in my repo, It doesn't actually need to know this to solve to do this task, but it's good that it's going through and taking a look. So interestingly, what it's done wrong here is that it's still just looking for 2023 blog posts. That's okay. So it's doing a very thorough look through my repo. So now it's figured out what it needs to do. So it's found some recent blog posts. It knows, well, interestingly, because it's obviously thinks 2025 is in the future, which it's not, it's decided 2023. It's December 2023, which is, we can adjust that as part of the code review process. So no big deal. No big deal. We're okay. Now it's going to it's documented the entire process. It's going to follow the instructions I gave it, practical guidance, how to steer the agent and fix issues, which is good. I did ask it to give some thoughts on implications of having AI write about an AI, and some closing remarks. The file name, it has got the correct file name. We figured out that. I didn't guide it on that. Style, I've asked it to include lots of links to the documentation. Now it's going to draft the blog post. So this is the interesting part. Obviously, it's doing a fair amount of work. Here it goes. Coding with GitHub. It's come up with a title, Coding with GitHub Copilot Virtual Teammates. It has started the blog post entirely created with GitHub Copilot Coding Agent. AI is generated. It's purely demonstration. That is exactly what I asked it to do. It's given me some introduction. That's fairly nice. I'm going to have to read through this in some detail. Markdown, I would have preferred it to use the number good markdown formatting for the 11111, but that's a nitpick. So I'll nitpick the format in the PR. So I mean, it looks fairly decent. Okay, it's added what's it doing now? It's added a section at the bottom about interesting. It's added a section how the blog post was created. That's really interesting. It's reflected now. It's given me it's said this is all the tasks I intended to do. I've completed them. It is now committing is making the commit back to the branch. So it created a branch fix 23, and it's checking that the word count is low. I said no longer than 1,000 words, so it's checking that. It may have gone a little bit over. It's 11:48, so maybe Copilot's going to do a bit of a modification to reduce. I shouldn't have been so strict on 1,000. Good that it's so detail orientated, so it's shrunk down a little bit there. It's pretty cool. So yeah, it's hopefully reduce the word count. No, it's probably going to do another word count check. That's cool. So we'll wait for that to happen. And while it's doing this, I think these tools are really, really useful for, I think, reducing tech debt. I mean, allowing us to have sort of more cognitive bandwidth to think about the more difficult problems. So using this, I imagine I'm going to use this a lot to just address lower hanging tech debt remediation, test improvement, code structural improvement, general janitorial work that I don't necessarily have the time to do, but I need it to be done. And now I can focus more of my time on the harder, more difficult challenges. So as you can see, it's checking the word count again. 1,029, I kind of want to say to it, you're okay, 1,029 is fine, but I'm not interrupting it. Junior Code is off doing what Junior Coder needs to do. But I'd love to be able to sort of almost sort of steer it as it goes somehow. But I guess you're always going to be fighting against the clock there. But you never know. Maybe Copilot will go, 1,029, it's all good enough. But it's good that it's such a following the detail to the letter. Let's make one final round. So it's really trying hard to get this. So it's it's I love it. It's just taking a few words out here and there. That's an interesting learning for me. The model will be extremely pedantic. I think you need to be maybe a little less restrictive in how the model solves or addresses your problem, but it's interesting that it's trying to do this. Let's see if it's got down to 1,000. I really hope. Otherwise, it's going to keep going around making tweaks and edits. Quite a thorough little editor. 948, good enough. Okay. So let's hope Copilot will now decide we are good to go, and then move on. So I'm personally super excited on how I'm going to use this. I'm just going to be able to be so much more productive, I think. I have so many ideas for projects and things I want to build, and things I need for myself. So I'm just delighted that I get to do this. I get to spend my time coding, working on solving bigger problems and thinking about stuff, not having to do every little bit of janitorial work that I often distract myself with. So this is going to be fantastic. Okay, so I think we're nearing the end here. And again, we don't have to watch this. I could be off doing something else more productive. I don't have to watch Copilot doing this. It's just really interesting to see how it works. That as you can see, all the requirements have been met. It's fantastic that it started with that. And it's been committed. The task is now complete. So we can head back over here and we can see that no conflicts with the base branch. It needs to run my build. So it needs an approval to do that. So it's going to run my CI, which is just going to check the build process, of course, run any tests. This is as I said, it's 11T blog. It's 11T site. It's fairly light on the testing. The build process is fairly simple, just an npm restore and npm install, and then a 11T build. So once that's done, if I wanted to steer it, maybe I give it a bit more feedback, I can just say Copilot, make this adjustment, etc., provide this feedback, and Copilot will happily do another round, and that will then show up as a second view session. So if we head back over here and we go to the top, there's session 1. If I asked it to make a change, it would go back to session 2, and I could then follow along with that. But here I'm going to go, okay, I reckon this is ready to review. We'll wait for this to finish. It does take a couple of minutes to build. But let's just say it is ready for review. So I can now, of course, I can get Copilot to review as well if I really wanted to. So why don't we do that for fun? So Copilot will actually provide a review. And of course, it's not like a developer reviewing their own developer work. It is another AI, they another AI process that's going to perform that review. So as you can see, it's noted that it said, the PR ads. It just really checks that. What do you got? Considering author a field. That's a good suggestion, but because I'm the only author, I never include them in my blog post. But it's a fair call. But it's also compared the PR. Against the issue to say, and the PR against the change that was actually made to say those are actually what has been changed is what is said in the PR. So everything looks good. I can, of course, go and basically say this is ready to go. So squash and merge, and we are done here. And delete my branch, and that is. Well, that is going to now get pushed to production over the next few minutes, and it should appear on my blog site. And I have not looked at this, so I think probably in reality I would have normally reviewed it, but as a demonstration, as an evaluation, I'm going to leave this post up on my